I had spent a few days in Austin, Texas, visiting friends. Since I live in Louisiana, the trip required a full day of driving. On my last day in Austin, my old friend Tom saw my Instagram story and asked when I was heading back. When I said today, he mentioned that his house was about an hour outside of Austin, right along my route home. I hadn't seen Tom in years, and this seemed like a great chance to catch up. So, I entered his address into my GPS and hit the road. Tom and I had been friends in high school, but we lost touch after graduation. We followed each other on social media, but we hadn't really talked in years. When I arrived, I noticed his house was old but well kept. The wooden porch creaked beneath my feet, and the inside smelled of aged wood and something rustic, like an old cabin deep in the woods. Tom greeted me warmly, hugging me and pulling me inside. Some friendships remain pure, no matter how much time passes. The interior was just as old-fashioned as the outside. The furniture looked like it had been there since the 70s, and every step I took on the hardwood floors let out a small creak. It had a certain Texas charm, like stepping back in time. We sat in his living room, drinking whiskey and reminiscing about old times. It was around 5 p.m., and one drink turned into 2, then 3, then more. Before I knew it, I was pretty drunk. The warmth of the alcohol made the room feel smaller, cozier, but also heavier. Time flew by, and eventually, Tom asked the question I had expected, "Man, you've got a long drive ahead. Why don't you just crash here tonight?" I hesitated, but he was right. I was in no condition to drive, so I agreed and asked if I could take the couch in the living room. "Nah," Tom said. "I've got a spare room. It's nothing fancy, but it's better than the couch." That was good enough for me. After eating some Chinese takeout, he led me to the guest room. I was too drunk to notice much about the room, except that the air felt strangely still, like no one had used it in a long time. I barely registered my surroundings before collapsing onto the bed, exhausted and intoxicated. Sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up. My mouth was dry, my head was spinning, and the room was dark except for the faint moonlight filtering through the blinds. That's when I saw it. In the far corner of the room, near the closet door, something was hanging. At first, it looked like a long black trench coat on a coat rack. But as my eyes adjusted, the shape felt wrong. The upper portion was broad, almost like shoulders, and the way it hung made it look more like a silhouette than just fabric. My heart pounded. I didn't remember seeing that when I stumbled into bed, but I had been drunk, maybe I just hadn't noticed. I turned over, trying to ignore it. It was just a coat. Nothing more. But I couldn't help myself. I peeked again. Still there. I squeezed my eyes shut, took a deep breath, and forced myself back to sleep. I don't know how long I was out before I woke up again. This time, it wasn't just discomfort that pulled me from sleep. It was a sound, a slow, soft creaking, like someone stepping carefully on old wooden floors. My eyes shot open. The room was dimly lit now, dawn creeping through the blinds. I turned my head toward the corner, and my stomach dropped. The coat was gone. I sat up so fast my head spun. My body buzzed with a sickening mix of fear and leftover alcohol. I scanned the room, my heart pounding against my ribs. Nothing in the corner. Just an empty closet door. I threw the covers off and rushed to Tom's room. He was snoring, completely unaware of the panic storming through me. I shook him awake, which took some effort considering how much we had drunk the night before. Finally, he stirred, rubbing his eyes groggily. "The coat," I said breathlessly. "The one on the coat rack in the guest room." He squinted at me in confusion. "What coat?" "The black trench coat, the one that was hanging on the closet door. It almost looked like a person." Tom sat up, looking more awake now. "I don't own a trench coat, man. I don't even have a coat rack in that room." I stared at him, waiting for him to laugh or tell me he was messing with me. But his expression remained serious. "Come look," I said. He sighed but got up and followed me to the guest room. I pointed to the exact spot. "It was right there," I said. Tom scratched his head. "Are you sure you weren't just dreaming?" I insisted, my voice shaking slightly. "I know what I saw. I woke up, and it was there. Then I woke up again, and it was gone." We stood there for a few moments, both of us feeling the same eerie silence pressing in on us. Tom finally exhaled and shook his head, agreeing that we should check the house, just in case. We searched every room, every closet, every corner. Nothing. No signs of forced entry. No weird coats hanging anywhere. Nothing that could explain what I saw. Eventually, Tom tried to convince me that maybe I had been in some kind of half-dream state, seeing things that weren't really there. I wanted to believe that. I really did. I didn't want to consider the alternative. As soon as the sun was fully up, I grabbed my stuff, said goodbye, and hit the road. I almost felt guilty leaving him alone after that. The whole drive back to Louisiana, my mind kept circling back to that moment, waking up to that coat-like figure staring at me from the corner. The way it was just gone in the morning. Maybe Tom had played a cruel prank on me. But to this day, he's never admitted to anything, so I doubt it. Or maybe, just maybe, someone had been in that house, watching me sleep. And they decided to leave before dawn.